So on the test review on number 2, it could be possibly tricky. This is already an answer key created that you have access to, but I wanted to go over maybe what mistakes you might be making while you try to do it if you couldn't get the answer key's answer. So I will point out on number 2, it is a right triangle, which is essential because everything we're doing should be a right triangle. And then I can find what the hypotenuse of this right triangle would be. I'm not going to use trig though. Sine, cosine, and tangent need to either find an angle or have an angle to find a side. I'm finding a side, but I don't have an angle. It's not trigonometry. You're going to use the Pythagorean theorem. So as a reminder, the Pythagorean theorem takes the two legs, squares them, and adds them, and it will be equal to the hypotenuse squared. So in this problem, my two legs are an 8 and a square root 26, and it's x that I don't know. So on the left-hand side, I can just go ahead and square and add these things. 8 squared is 64 because of 8 times 8. And I could go ahead and multiply this out, or I could just say squaring and square rooting are inverse operations. They're opposites. They're going to cancel each other out. I can add 64 and 26 now, and I'll get 90. And I'm solving by square roots, so I'm going to square root both sides because squaring and square rooting are inverse operations. They cancel each other out. Technically, I'll have two solutions, but you'll notice only the positive solution is labeled because it's a length and you can't have negative yards. So I'm going to break this apart. 90 is not a perfect square, but it is 9 times 10. So I can find some prime numbers of 3, 3, and then 10 is 2 and 5. So instead of square root of 90, I could actually write the square root of 2 times 3 times 3 times 5. The whole reason to do this is pairs make perfect squares. 3 times 3 is the number 9, and the square root of 9 is a regular 3. But since there was a 2 and a 5 that didn't pair up with anybody, 2 times 5 goes back together to make 10.